Jayla. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming with my natural birth story. Everybody always asks me questions about it, asks me for tips. How did I do it? How did it feel? Today I'm going to tell y'all. So I'm going to start at the beginning, but before I start, I want y'all to go like this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can get updates every time I upload a video. So I'm going to start with the weekend leading up to my labor. So on Friday, me and my cousins, we went to Purple Cow. And I went to the restroom, and the day before I had a little piece of my mucus plug come out, but it was only a little piece, so I was just like, it's nothing, it's straight, it'll be fine. We go to Purple Cow, go to the restroom, and another piece come, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably about to go in labor. So, once I started seeing pieces, I already knew because I had researched the whole labor delivery process, like steps in labor, active labor, transitional, like everything about it. I researched it. So I had already knew this was like signs of labor. So I told my cousin, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go in labor soon. And she was like, yeah, whatever. Because I had thought everything was labor though. Like I didn't know how contractions felt because this is my first time being pregnant. I didn't know how labor felt. Like I didn't know what signs to feel for, but I knew like stuff like your mucus plug falls out, your water breaks. I knew that type of stuff. So when I was seeing little blood, it's called the bloody show. Usually a whole lot of blood comes out, like a clog of it. And what I seen from Google, it was like a mucus and blood clot basically. But I was getting little pieces, like when you have a bloody nose, kind of, it was mucusy. I don't want to be too TMI, but I'm telling y'all about it. So and it was like mostly, it wasn't blood though, mostly. So I didn't know really if it meant I was going in labor soon or I was just being too like, labor. Because at this point, everybody knows if you've been pregnant, it becomes a point like at the end, past the 33, 34, 35, 36, like the last little weeks of being pregnant, you want the baby out, but you also don't want to, well, I didn't want to rush it. Like I know people do stuff like take castor oil and all that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to let my body work and him come natural. So at this point I want him out, but I'm not rushing him, and I also don't want to think too much, like rush myself into labor by thinking too much. So I was like trying to be calm, but also not trying to like just miss going into labor. Somehow I thought I was gonna miss it. But anyway, so with Purple Cow, it happens again, and then we go to our friend's house. And while in my friend's house, my body was hurting really, really bad. Like I couldn't sleep. Well, towards the end anyways, you can't sleep. Like it's so uncomfortable. That's what I was like. You don't want to rush your baby, but it's also like, I don't think I can do this. Like I can't. I'm only 4'10". Before pregnancy, I weighed 120. I got up to 170 damn near while pregnant. Like I was just all belly, like huge. I couldn't carry all that. Like it was so uncomfortable. So I didn't want to rush him, but if he was coming, I was gonna let him come. So we got to my friend's house, and I was really, really uncomfortable, and I kept complaining like I was ready to go home. I was in pain, and I was ready to be in my own bed. So I told my cousin I was ready to go, and my friend's grandma was like, yeah, you probably need to go home because it seems like you're going to go in labor soon. Like, in the end, it get uncomfortable anyways, but you say you in pain, that might be, like, labor coming on. Like, my whole body was aching, especially, like, around my belly. Like, it was just, it hurts. It hurts real bad. But then once I got home, I took a nap, and, I got up and I was feeling better. I was like, I need to do this maternity shoot. I wanted to do the milk bath picture. So I was like, I need to get that done because I don't know what this little boy doing. Like, what is his plan? I don't know. So, I got up, got the milk in the tub, and I started taking pictures. So Lando texts me and he's like, I'm about to bring you some clothes and some money. So he brought me that, and then he was like, he's going out tonight. So I was like, okay, cool, that's straight. So I finished taking my pictures or whatever, and I started feeling like kind of hot and like dizzy. So I was like, I need to go take a nap because I'm not feeling good. So I cleaned up my bathroom and changed my clothes, and I got in the bed. And so I was taking a nap or whatever. Fast forward, that was around like 8. I got in the bed to take the nap. I got up around like 10, and I still wasn't feeling good. And so I'm like, And so I lay back down again because I'm still not feeling good. And then I woke up like to a sharp pain in my stomach. And so I was like, something not right. Like, maybe this is labor. And at this point, I've been panicking so much about labor because you don't know when it's going to hit you. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is labor. But then I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then it happens again. So at this point, I'm feeling like every time it happens, which they were contractions, but at this point I haven't said, okay, yeah, I'm in labor, these contractions yet. Like, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this fake. Like, you don't know, you're not too sure yet. So I laid back down a little bit, and then once the contractions started getting stronger, like each time, it's like with each contraction they got stronger, I started feeling like I had to use the restroom every time they would come. I was like, okay, maybe I need to go get it on the toilet. So I went and got on the toilet, and I'm really, every time I'm chilling on the toilet, I'm waiting, and every time it will come, it will make me push. And I remember previously in the pregnancy, I couldn't poop my whole pregnancy, really. And when I did, it would be like constipation. Like, it would hurt really bad. And I remember I did this one poop, and I was like, bro, I might not be able to do labor. That shit hurt. So, it felt like that again. And so I'm sitting on the toilet, and I push every time I have a contraction. So, that's how contractions are. Like, it's a rest period and everything fine. Then, boom, it hits you and you just all sick. Like, a wave of sickness just comes over. And at one point, and at the end, towards the end of the contraction, I started feeling like I got to throw up. I ate one time that whole day, and I had ate pasta. So I felt like I had to throw up, and I gagged. None came up. I said, I'm feeling bad, but every time I push, I'm not pooping. So in the beginning of my pregnancy, the boy gave me the blues. Like, he whooped my ass. Like, up until my 5th month, I was puking all day. Like, I could never keep none down. And I would always feel nauseous because I needed to eat. You know the feeling like you haven't ate all day? Like, your stomach touching your back, nauseous type. I was like that all day. But as soon as I ate, I would puke. So, I was feeling like that again. And I was like, okay, I'm on this toilet. Every time I'm in so much pain, every sudden, I haven't even started timing them yet. Realized that I'm in labor yet. I'm just like, what is going on with me? I feel sick. And in the beginning, this baby had me sick. So why is you doing this, Saya? I grabbed my stomach and I was, don't start. Please don't start, Saya. Like, don't start. We done made it this far. We at the end. Like, why am I feeling so sick? I was like, okay, at the beginning, I used to run me a hot bath and I'll get in it and I'll be good. So I was like, okay, I'm finna run me some bath water and get in and see if that made me feel better. And I started feeling okay. But then every time the wave would come, I would gag and like push still. So I started feeling like I needed to throw up. And as soon as I was trying to get out the bathtub, it was so hard to get out. I started throwing up. So I put pasta all over me. And I'm like, I'm so disgusted. So fucking disgusted. Because I already don't like nothing in my bath water. And now puke is in my bath water. So I'm so disgusted. So I jump out the bathtub. And in the middle of jumping out, a contraction hit. So I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm freaking out. I'm in pain. Puke, pasta noodles, half-eaten pasta noodles are stuck to my body. Then so I sit on the toilet and I start poop. Now all this time I've been needing to poop. I push and I poop. I'm like, okay, yeah. This is labor. This is definitely labor. Yeah. This is labor. This is definitely labor. I don't want to call nobody yet and mess up things because Lando is at the club and I don't want to call him here and I'm not in labor yet. And I don't want to call Sheila. That's who I her to take me to the hospital off the top. I knew if I told Lando, I was going to stress him out. So I was like, okay, I don't want to call them yet, but I'm definitely in labor. So I was like, okay, let me clean up my bathroom and I'm finna go lay back down. So I cleaned up and I went back into my room and I changed into my nightgown. I lay back down. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better now. Let me just take a good nap while I'm feeling better. So I lay down, and this is now is about 11. So I lay down at 11, and I take about a 2-hour nap, and I wake up at like 1 in excruciating pain. Like, ew, that pain was so bad. I was like, okay, I gotta call somebody. So I called Lando, and Lando was at the club. And I told him, I said, I think I'm in labor. So he was like, no way. So he texted me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in labor, but I'm still at home. So I'll just let you know. I'm gonna keep you like up to date. And he like, okay, cool. So I texted my cousin, and the one I was at my friend's house with, and I was like, Tiana, I'm in labor. And she was like I said, I haven't been saying it so much. She was like, no way. I said, no, for real this time, I think I am. It is real. And she was like, okay. But I could tell she thought I was just like talking, because sometimes I just be talking. So I lay back down for a little bit, because I had to call her mom, and I knew once I called her mom, that means it was probably going to be time to go to the hospital. So I lay down for a little bit, and the rest, like from 1 till 3, I just took contractions back to back, and I started timing them myself, but I knew once I went to sleep is when I didn't feel pain. So I kept nodding off in between timing my contractions. I woke up around 3, and a big contraction had hit, and I was like screaming in pain. And I called Sheila, and I'm like, hey Sheila, I'm in labor. And she was like, Joe, you for real? And I was like, yes, I'm in labor. And she was like, have you started timing your contractions? I said, a little bit, but I've been slipping on it. She was like, okay, are you ready to go to the hospital? I said, no, not yet, definitely not yet. And she was like, okay, well, call me back if they get back worse or closer together. So I was like, okay, cool. So I hung up, and that was like around 3:30. 4 comes like 4:15, I say. I think it was like 4:12 actually though. And another one hit. So I called Sheila back, and I'm like, okay, yes, it's time to go. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, I had been researching, like I said, and I knew to labor at home most, like as long as I can labor at home. So I was like, probably not then. Okay, is she, like, every time she would say, is you sure? I say, I don't know yet, because that would make me think, okay, once I get to the hospital, he coming out. But that really wasn't the case. So, because I really thought I was going to have a quick labor. That didn't happen. But, so I was like, nah, I'm going to see if I can hold it a little bit more. About 5:15 came. Another hour passed. And I called her because they had got closer to me. And so she was like, you ready? And I was like, yes, they closer, I think, and I'm in bad pain. She was like, okay, well, I'm on the way. So I started getting ready for the hospital. I got my hospital bag, and I called Lando and telling him to come to the hospital, meet me at the hospital. So she came and got me from my house, and we went to the hospital. So we get to the hospital, and they wheel me in the on a wheelchair. And we get to the little desk. They ask me my name, what's my doctor name, when is my due date, and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, I told them everything, and I was like in so much pain, but nothing compared to the pain that was coming. I didn't know they get, but this pain was still, it still hurts. It really hurts. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, whoa, okay, whoa, because they're still coming. And I knew I was closer to having my baby as contractions came, but I also knew that they were only getting worse with each time I dilate. So I answered all the questions or whatever, and they was like, okay, well, we're gonna wheel you to this room, and we're not gonna wheel you far because you're in so much pain. So I was like, okay. So they're getting me put on the bed, and she was like, well, can you stand? And I was like, I looked down. I remember looking down at myself, and then they were she got me by my arms. And I started puking. Like I said, I was puking at home. So at first I had this bucket from my baby shower. Once I got to the hospital, they gave me like the little flimsy gag bag. I was trying to hold on to that and hold on to her, and I kind of slipped. And she was like, man, you're so small. Like, gosh, it's like you're about to fall over. Because like, y'all, I was literally all belly. Like, it was just, I was just so big. So big. So, they got me in the bed, and Dr. Chang, which was my doctor, he came in at like, I say 30 minutes later. I took a few more contractions and I started like processing like, wow, I'm about to meet my baby today. It's probably today. And at this point, they haven't confirmed that there's going to be a baby yet today. So he comes in and he checks me. He's like, today is the day, ain't it? And I said, yeah, I think so. So he started checking me or whatever. He was like, okay, you're 3 centimeters. And I'm like, 3 centimeters? And this pain, y'all, I just knew walking to the hospital, I'm about to have the baby. Like, I'm at the end. Like, this stuff hurt. I'm just thinking, yeah, he about to slip out at any moment. Nah, that wasn't the case at all. So we get that done, and he taking off his gloves or whatever. He was like, okay, well, we're going to come check again in like 30 minutes because your water hasn't even broke. And if it haven't broke, I'll break it. So he came back 30 minutes later. My water still wasn't broke. So he was like, okay, well, I'm going to break your water. So he broke my water, and it felt like this just warm, like, water balloon had bursted inside of me. That's how it felt to me. So he did that or whatever, and he was like, okay, so to progress your labor, we're going to go with Pitocin and get things rolling, okay? And I have this problem. It don't matter who it is. I could be getting my hair done. I don't like hurting people's feelings. So, like, or like confrontation. So like if I'm getting my hair done, they ask, do this look okay? I'm just gonna like, okay, cool, everything fine. Like, I'm not gonna go back and have a rebuttal for them. I'm just going, okay, cool. So they said Pitocin, but I knew I didn't want no medicine, like none. I didn't want Pitocin. I didn't want that epidural. I didn't want none of that. I didn't want none of it. And once I got news that I was pregnant, I was like, I'm doing this natural. I've always wanted that. I'm doing it natural. So at this, like, to even get me this far, it was more so for my baby. I knew what I wanted for my baby. I didn't want none of those medicines crossing over to him. So I didn't want medicines. Like, I said that and I meant it. So once I let them walk out, I told Sheila, I don't want medicine. And Sheila was like, and you're not going to get it. So Sheila told them, I don't want it. And they were like, okay, cool. So she checked me again, and I was 4 centimeters. She was like, well, you're progressing, so you might not even need it. So I was like, okay. Which in my head I already feel like, I know I don't need it. Like, I know. Just let my body do what my body is supposed to do. So, like, the pain is there, but I also want my baby here safely. So, and she checked me, I was at 4, and I told them I didn't want Pitocin. I don't even remember the steps in it, but somewhere along them lines, I yelled at Lindo, hey, don't ever touch me ever again. Like, nothing sexual. I don't want nothing. Don't touch me no more. Don't ever touch me again. And at this point, it's me, my cousins, Lando, and his mom in the room while I'm laboring. So, like, when I had got to 5, I was flipping all over the bed. The little thing that goes to check the baby, like the heart rate monitor thing that goes around your belly when you're in labor. I kept taking that off. Like, the pain was just so bad. I didn't want nothing touching me, nobody talking to me. I asked for ice, but ice is like one of my favoriteest things in the world. I couldn't even eat that in labor. Like, anytime I would eat or drink, I was puking. Every contraction that came, I was puking, and like, it was making me push. And she was like, don't push it, Jayla, because you're gonna bruise your cervix pushing too early. But I'm like, how can I not push? That's not me pushing. That's my body. Like, it's making me push. Every contraction that came was making me push way early, and also making me feel like I had to puke. Well, that went on, like, we're in the room laboring, basically. Labor is like this long process, which in my mind I knew all the steps of labor, but I'm thinking I was going to be looking. It was just going to be labor, delivery, good, we good, you know? No, that didn't happen. So we played this game of waiting. That's really what labor is. Is waiting, contracting, resting, contracting, and just waiting. Like, for so long, basically. So I got to the hospital at 6 a.m. I didn't push till 12. So I'm just laboring. And when I'm getting checked for how far I done dilated, that was the best feeling ever. That's the only thing that gave me relief. And so I kept like not even over telling them to check me. Like, can y'all check? Okay, can y'all check? Because I knew with each check, that would mean it's closer to me having a baby. So, they were checking me, and I got to 8. At 8 centimeters, it was like a pause. So I had stopped coming or something. Like, it felt like 8 was the longest. I remember that being the longest stage. And it was some moments in that pain that made me ask for the epidural. Like, I remember I looked at Sheila and I was like, okay, maybe I should get it. But I told them before I was in labor, no matter how, please don't let the pain talk for me. And if I ever ask for it, no, it's the pain talking, and don't let me get it. So, like, in the rush, like, you know. And I never did ask for epidural, but I just kept referring to it as it. Like, I was like, Sheila, should I go ahead and get it? Like, after each contraction, it would make me, like, especially after 7 centimeters. I said after that, I started like, yeah, I probably need to go ahead and get it, because it just hurt so bad. Like, the pain was just so... it was pretty traumatizing. Like, it's a forgettable. I can't remember the pain right now, but I remember it just hurting so bad. Like, it just hurt so bad. And I remember saying, if they weren't there, I would have probably ended up with epidural. So I remember asking, and I would always try to wait till the doctors get out of there, because I just felt they would use that against me. And one time I said it, and my nurse was in there, and she started explaining to me. She was like, you're far, but it's only going to get worse. Like, I mean, you're in a pretty bad spot right now, because your pain, I see the pain on you, and it's only gonna get worse. Like, I can go get the anesthesiologist, and we can explain how it's gonna work and everything to you. But if you're gonna get it, you can get it now. I mean, it'll help you a lot. It'll stop all the pain. And I'm really thinking, like, should I go ahead and get it, because this hurt really bad, and I don't know if I can keep going. But I also knew I did not want it. So I let them, she explained it to me, and then she walked out, and I told Sheila, no, Sheila told me, Jella, you can do it, you can go ahead and do it, just get it out the way. And Lando was like, yeah, you're not getting it, you already told us, we not doing that. So I was like, I wasn't even at a point like, I can't get it. It was just like, all right, I can do it. So the next contraction came, and I was back at that point like, I can't do it, y'all, I need the epidural. And that continued to, like, all the way to 9 centimeters. So she comes in to check again, and like I said, I was overusing them. Like, every time they would walk out, I was wanting them to come check me again, because that was checking on my progress. Like, I just needed this baby out of me. That's the point I was at now. Like, I just wanted him out. So she came in, one doctor was like, you're at 8.5, and I was like, okay, closer to 9, that's cool. But then I asked again, and another person came, a different nurse person from my nurse and doctor came, and she checked me, and she was like, you're at 9. But then that lady started checking me a lot, and my other nurse came back and told me that I was only still at 8.5. So that made me, like, I felt defeated, and I'm like, this shit hurt. I'm not gonna make it. And then Sheila kept saying, you got it, Jelly, you got it. Like, she held my hand and was like, you got it, you good. Through each contraction, I just screamed. Like, at this point, I'm probably, if it was any babies on their floor, they weren't sleeping. The moms were probably like, who is this maniac? Because, like, I was screaming so freaking loud. And, like, every time a contraction would come, it would make my body push. And, like, I had pooped on myself. It was just, everything was so bad. And in that moment, I'm really, really I don't care about showing my body, but it's some stuff like I wouldn't shit in front of somebody. But in that moment, I didn't give a care. I didn't have a care in the world. I didn't care. But at the same time, it was points where I'm like, okay, don't look at my ass. Like, my mother-in-law was in there, and I don't look at my, it was some shit. It was like, I didn't want that to happen. That's why before I was in labor, I wanted it to just be me and my baby. That's me, my baby, and his dad. That's it. Me and my family. That's how I felt I wanted to be. But now looking back, Sheila stood in place as my doula, and I don't think I would have did it without Sheila, because Lando and me, we clashed. So at one point, I was cussing him out and some more stuff. If I only had him, I probably would have made him get out the room. Like, I was being so fucking mean, but Sheila was helping me through it, like, coaching me through the contractions and everything. Like, because after 7 centimeters, I literally felt like I was gonna die every single time a contraction came. Like, that shit hurt so bad. At one point, the nurse told me to get up on my knees and like hug the back of the bed. She had the bed at an L shape and she wanted me to hug this part and get on my knees and contract through there. I did that for a little bit and the little monitor kept coming off. They kept trying to fix that, touching me. It was just so irritating. But in that position, I remember feeling like, oh shit, this is finna make him drop out of me. It hurt so bad. So I was like, okay, no. I don't want to be in this position. I don't want to be in this position. So they put me back, like I sat back down. And then so I asked them again to check me and they came in. They was like, okay, you're at 9. And so I was like, okay, yes. I got one more and he here. I'm finna push. And I thought once I get to 10, he out. That's what I thought, out. But I'm like, okay, cool. We almost there. We good. And then so she came and checked me. When she checked me that time, time after that, she was like, okay, you're at 9, but it's like some is pushing, there's pressure. Do you have to use restroom? And I was like, I can't pee right now. Like, I felt it. I couldn't even feel like my actual, like, oh, I gotta pee. I couldn't feel none of those urges. I just felt the need to push, and then when it would stop, and then in a contraction, I felt the need to push. So she told me to go pee, and they all helped me to the restroom, and she was like, my cousin was saying, Jolie, you need to let your bladder go because she said that's what's stopping you. So I'm doing whatever to get this baby out of me. So I try to pee and they get me back to the bed, and she was like, okay, maybe that walking and moving got him down some. Let me check you. So she checked me and I was at 10. No. I wasn't at 10. She said 9.5. That got you closer. So let's bounce on the ball some. So she let me bounce on the ball. And I was bouncing. Then she checked again. She said, okay, you're at 10. And all the my doctor came in, and all these nurses started rushing into the room. So they all rushed into the room, and I'm getting ready to push. Lando ass then got gloves. He think he just the doctor. And in that moment, I needed that though. Like, Sheila had left. It was just me, Lando, his mama left. All of my family left out. It was just us. And I needed him, like, more than anything, because it was like he know me. So I was using him, and in this moment I feel like I'm finna die at this point with the contractions. Like, every contraction that comes, I'm like, oh yes, please just get this baby out of me, just get him out of me, just come on. So as soon as they say push, I've been wanting to push. Like, I was pushing when I was 3 centimeters at home. Like, every contraction made me feel like I need to push, and now it was like relieving that. This was like the best part. So they telling me to push, and it's like every time I would push all that I can, and then I would push like to where I, even when I can't no more, like I would always go past push. Like, I was just going and going, but it was like they would tell me, okay, 2 more pushes and he out, but then I'll do 2 more pushes and he wouldn't be out, and I started pushing at 12. He didn't make it into the door until 6:19 p.m. I pushed for 6 hours, and so he got stuck. And first we pushed, and then we pushed like on my back, and then they got this little they broke the bed down. I've never seen a hospital bed break down like they broke mine down, but they pushed the end in, but it was still rails on the side, and I put my hands right there. Then they made me squat like I was working out and push, and I did that. And then I pushed in that position for like 3 minutes, I'll say. Then I rearranged my position again, and they had me like on all fours pushing, and I pushed in that position, and then they checked, and he still wasn't coming, y'all. So I got on the ball, and I was like hovering over the ball, and every time I would feel the urge to push, I would get back like on the edge of the bed, and I would squat and push. He still didn't come. So then they had me do the hugging the back of the bag again and pushing like on my knees. And but he wasn't coming yet, but it was progressing. And so finally they put me on my back again. And Lando, at this point I'm like, y'all, I don't think I can do it no more. Like, Lando. And I remember I looked at Lando and I was like, he was like, push back. I see his head push. He almost here. He got a head full of hair. Just look. And I was like, that made me mad because I'm in so much pain. I'm like, babe, I can't look. I can't see. And so it's like, oh, I remember I put my, like, bang my head against the bed. And I was like, I can't do this. And Lando looked at me. He's like, you gonna do it. Yes, you are. Like, you can do it. And I remember I pushed and, like, they did the 1, 2, 3. It was like, okay, he's out. He out. And I remember just feeling like this warm, happy, like, cry feeling. And I hadn't cried my whole labor. And through all that pain, I didn't shed not one tear. But once he was out, it was just like a rush of emotions. And I just felt like so happy because through the contractions, with each contraction, I started looking at it like a mountain. And with, you know, like you struggle when you're trying to lift yourself up, each contraction, I would look at it like that. But I would look at it like, okay, I'm one step closer to Saya. Like, I'm about to meet my baby. My baby is at the top and I'm just trying to get there. And so once he was out, it was just like I had so many like positive affirmations like on sticky notes. I didn't even get to use them. But in my mind, the whole time I was contracted, I'm telling myself, okay, this pain is temporary. If you get the epidural, you're going to have back problems, and if so much stuff can happen, all you got to do is let your body do what it needs to do. Like, this is what I'm telling myself. Your body was made to do this. You're good, Jayla. This bringing you your baby. You're almost to Saya. And I remember they got the baby, and I wanted to do delayed cord clamping, but when he first came out, we had such a traumatic, like, long delivery. When he came out, they were more focused on getting him breathing. So they let him delay his cord clamping for like 1 minute, I say 2 at the most. Then they took him away. And I remember Lando was crying at this point. He went to the bed and I'm like, babe, who he look like? What do he look like? Like, I just want to see him. And he was like, us. He look like us. And so they bring him to me, and I just started. I just started crying, and I remember I prayed to God. I said, thank you, God. Thank you, Papa, like, for just watching over me through all this, because that was by far the hardest, most painful thing I ever did in my life. Like, real talk, that was it was a lot. But I remember hugging him like, we did it, Saya. We did it, Saya. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Now, I remember looking at him, and he was just like you could tell he was tired, and it was a relief in him and me. And I remember just hugging him, and I was just like, I did it. Like, I really did it. Like, I did it. No epidural. No epidural. No nothing. No nothing. Like, it was just such a good feeling. And like, I encourage all women to at least try. Most people say after they do labor, it's like, I did it, I can do anything. Honestly, I would say I'll be more scared to do it again. Like, it was actually so traumatizing. Like, I can't express that enough. But after I did it, it was so, like, rewarding. Like, I feel, oh, it's like 6 months later. My baby is 6 months next Wednesday, February 5th. And it's still like, surreal. And for him, I do it all over again. Like, it's a really good feeling. And if you can at least try as a woman, because we're made to do it. Like, through the time I was given when I was in labor, it was times I want to give up, but I'm like, Jayla, you're not gonna die. It's okay. It's okay. He's coming. And I got through it. So I really encourage everyone to do it. If you have any questions, I hope I answered a lot in this, but I understand I was telling a story. So if you just have any like specific questions, I was gonna answer some in this video. However, the ones I got was mostly did it hurt and how did it feel, and I feel like I'm gonna answer that through the video. So I didn't do any specific questions. So if you have any, inbox me them and I will answer them. I will put all of my social media handles down in the comments. And yeah, follow me, ask me questions, DM, do all of that, and I will get back to y'all, I promise. So yeah, that's how it went, and I'm so glad I finally got this video done, because I really just adjusted to mom life. I mean, it gets stressful. Like right now, I'm pretty sure he's awake. And I'm about to go get to him because 30 minutes later and it's damn near dark. I need to get to my child. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I got a lot of things coming for us. I'm so happy to be a mom, and I'm ready for motherhood, and I want you guys watching. So yeah, bye.